Stop it, Mike. Welcome. It's another brand new live edition of the Extra Point. You know how we get down every Saturday morning. We got the gang in the house, Mr. Michigan Mike, Mr. Brandon Lewis, and Miss Tasha T. Sizzle coming all the way from the D to the Aura. We have a ton to get to today, ladies and gentlemen. But before we do that, a word from our sponsor.
We are sponsored by May Jane's Coffee. That's MAEJANES coffee.com. You can get your Colombian, your Honduran, and your Brazilian blend coffee, freshly ground or not, by my sweet daughter, Sasha Denise. If you're following her on Facebook, it is Denise. But she will grind the coffee for you, or she can send you the coffee beans if you want to grind it yourself. She has the syrups that you can flavor your coffee because everyone doesn't like black coffee. I prefer my coffee black. But please support our sponsor, which is May Jane's Coffee. Again, that's MAEJANES coffee.com.
Thank you for that. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, every cup soul keeps a sister off the pole. So do your part and clean up these streets. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. We are 1 week away from Super Bowl 56. As I do that, we're 1 week away from Super Bowl 56, and there was one thing once I saw the matchups. One thing stood out to me that I wanted to get all of y'all's thoughts on before we get into the tail of the tape between these two. Now, we'll give you a week to do your prediction on the eve of the Super Bowl because, hey, we want to give a week to see who's healthy, who's not. There's a couple of key players that may or may not return. But one thing that stood out to me was it's really a tale of two philosophies, this Super Bowl between Cincinnati and the Los Angeles Rams. On one end, you have Cincinnati, who built their team primarily through the draft. Joe Burrow, number one. Joe Mixon, early second-round pick. You got Jamar Chase, that was an early first-round pick this year. T. Higgins was an early pick. And then you have the Rams, who said, "The hell with your picks." They said, "We're going to get rid of all of our picks, shorten our window, and go for it now." They gave away all. They don't have a pick again until Brandon is going to be a grandfather. You know, they'll be in that draft next time they draft again. But with that being said, that led me to a question as a fan. Brandon, we're going to start with you. As a fan, would you rather your team go Cincinnati's route, let's say have 10 consecutive years of playoff contention but no Super Bowl ring, or would you rather them do it like the Rams, maybe a 3-year window of elite play, a Super Bowl, but the next 7 years your team is trash? Which would you rather have?
I'll probably go the Bengals route. You know, start young, start fresh, because majority of the players on the Rams, they're mostly veteran players. Some of them been to the Super Bowl. Some have won and some haven't. So I feel like their pedigree and their mindset is totally different than the Bengals. Also, you know, you got Sean McVay's job. I won't say it's on the line, but he's going with a different mindset after losing the first Super Bowl against the Patriots. But I would have to go the Bengals route, and just simply because, like I said, the youth, the growth, that people didn't expect them to be in the Super Bowl this year, and it just sets forth that their future is bright going forward.
Very, very bright. I know firsthand how bright their future is because I was just looking dark. I'm not going to make this about the Titans. We're going to move on to Mike. Mike, would you rather have 3 years of elite play in a Super Bowl and 7 years of trash play, or would you rather have 10 straight years of playoff contention but no Super Bowl?
I'm going to go the Rams route. Just the fact that veterans really do show up in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I think you can't really draft that type of experience. So, you know me, I like draft picks. So, other than, I think, I'm going to go with the Rams just because I like that experience and I like that hunger. I like that fight. It's really going to show up in this game.
You know what? That surprised me too because I do know how much you value draft picks. T. Sizzle, you actually lived through a dynasty with your team, the 49ers, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Fast forward to today, would you rather have 3 years of Super Bowl contention and a Super Bowl ring and 7 years of trash, or just 10 straight years of consistent winning but no Super Bowl?
I would take the 3 years. Let me tell you why. Because when you're introduced, Super Bowl champ, Michigan Mike, Super Bowl champ Brandon Lewis,
Yes,
Super Bowl
yes.
champ PL Coulter. They
Oh, that
don't
has
give
a
a
ring to
damn.
it.
They don't give a damn if you played 10 years on a winning team. When you're introduced, they're going to introduce you as a Super Bowl champion or, national champion, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in today's society, they're still taking on the motto of the late great Al Davis: just win, baby. People want to win. They want their fame. They want their flowers now. They don't care about having that longevity. I mean, then you look at my 49ers, who were so dominant in the 80s and 90s. When they got older, what happened? We were also Rams.
But the thing is, you always have that to throw over my head, those championships, when I start trying to bang on your team. Point well taken. See, this is why I have the funnest job in the world. To moderate these three, I never know what they're going to say. This is strictly live. Most of the stuff, they don't know what I'm going to ask before I ask. And every time they surprise me, I was very surprised by those answers. But I'm going to agree. Maybe if I was Brandon's age, I'd take 10 straight years of winning with no championship. But I'm getting on up closer to that upper room. And I'll take 7 years of losing to be called Super Bowl champion PL Coulter, to be able to watch my team in the parade, to be able to have that fanfare. Like, I would trade it all. You can get rid of Henry. You can get rid of everybody if my Titans can get a Super Bowl in the next three years.
You said get rid of Henry? Man, I like that.
I will toss this mofo into the river.
I didn't even gonna say something like that.
I
Man,
was born by the river.
You see Mike
it might take that, though. It's going to take that.
And it might take that. But you see Mike sitting there looking cool because his Eagles did this not too long ago. And so he can say, I don't want my team to make the playoffs. I want us to build through the draft. I'm like, the hell with that. My time is ticking. My team ain't won a jack dang thing. All right, good job by you all. Now let's get into the tail of the tape. Brandon, who has the advantage at quarterback next Sunday? You taking Joe Burrow or you taking Matthew Stafford?
I'll probably go with Matthew Stafford. And the reason being is on this one, I'm going to take veteran leadership, but also because the guy been trying to play for a Super Bowl for years. And now he has his opportunity and he's going to show out. So that's why I'm taking Matthew Stafford.
Okay, he's going with Stafford. T-Sizzle, let's move to the weaponry. Now, I'm going to give you some names, and you tell me which one that you would take in the Super Bowl. On one end, you got Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp, OBJ. On the other side, you have Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and T. Higgins. Who has the edge at the weaponry department?
Man, I'm taking Akers, Kupp, and Beckham Jr. all day long. Because now in my mind, Jerry Rice is the greatest of all greatest. Cooper Kupp is out there looking Jerry Rice-esque with the way he's running those routes. And I was watching one of the sports shows and somebody said that, and I was like, there's no way then. But then when I actually sat down and watched Cooper Kupp, Kupp,
not only did he get the Triple Crown this year, as far as leading the league in receptions, reception yards, and reception touchdowns, in the playoffs, he's made all the big plays to keep them in the tournament. Those late game heroics from Cooper Kupp. He is burning brothers on post routes, digs across the middle. He's not your prototypical slot receiver. He can get deep. Like, the guy has clutch hands. But
I mean, that's not to slight, because I am a Joe Mixon fan, because had what happened not happened, when he was at OU, which we're not going to get into that, but I was pro Joe Mixon. He would have been a first round pick. We all know that.
And he's playing like one, a well-deserved Pro Bowl.
Because he is.
Before the playoff success, even last year when Joe Burrow went down, he was still a bell cow running back. And it was good to see him finally see some success on offense there. Mike, last week I asked you which defense did you trust the most between Kansas City and Cincinnati. You said Cincinnati, and they made the game-changing interception in overtime to lead to their walk-off field goal. So let's come back to you for defense again. In a pinch, in a crunch, in a critical situation, whose defense do you trust the most? Cincinnati's again, or are you going with the veteran-laden Rams defense?
No, that's the Rams. That's easy. that's too easy. Man, you got Von Miller, you got Aaron Darnold, you got Ramsey. Like, it's over, man. Defense. It's
Tasha,
over,
you
man.
ain't
Sorry.
terrible when I'm talking to you. They got Eli Apple, Mr. Big Play.
This
Mr.
is his.
Do something.
This is
They
his
got
best
Eli Apple.
season.
Now,
This
well,
is
hold on
his
now.
best season.
Now, Brandon. Now we see what Tasha's body language. If all of y'all watching on Facebook Live and on YouTube, but Brandon, let's look at what they did against Tennessee. They had 3 critical turnovers and a late one to seal the deal. Against Kansas City, they got off the field, unlike Buffalo, who had the #1 defense in the league. They got off the field, gave it back to their offense in overtime, and won the game. They've been doing their thing on defense. You're not going to give Cincinnati a chance defensively?
Not this one. I mean,
I mean, it's a Cincinnati team who stopped inconsistent offenses throughout the playoffs.
Correct.
If you think about it, you look at the Rams; they beat good offensive teams that have been consistent throughout the whole season. Arizona, Green Bay, like they shut them down. So,
right.
I mean, and then we all know Mahomes wasn't playing Mahomes-esque when in that championship game. So you can't just say, "Oh, the Cincinnati defense was just out there mulling people over." Like Mike said, they were playing offenses that were kind of
right. And Tennessee's definitely falls into that category with a Ryan. No, I'm not going to do it. Y'all not going to ruin my Saturday talking about the Tennessee Titans. Now speaking of Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes in his last game against Cincinnati, late in that game, he looked like the Patrick Mahomes against your 49ers. Against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 years ago, where he was running around with no help, being reckless with the ball. He almost lost the game on the final drive, fumbling, just trying to scramble and make things happen. Did Joe Burrow close the door on their championship window, Tasha?
No. Are you kidding?
Well, that was just a blip on the radar, you saying?
Yeah, because true enough, Mahomes did look like somebody else had said this too, and I thought it because I had to record the game because I don't get CBS, so I had to go back and watch the game. And as I was watching the game, I said, "Jimmy, is that you?" Like he was playing like Jimmy Garoppolo. And on one of the sports shows I was watching, somebody said they don't know how Jimmy Garoppolo got down there that fast, got in makeup and hair to be able to throw that game like that for the Kansas City Chiefs. I just think the Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes in particular, they just had an off day. And the thing is, I think Mahomes is only going to be as good as what's around him. If you put boo-boo and garbage around him, he's not going to be able to perform because that's just it. You need weapons to perform. So I think the only thing that will stop Mahomes is Mahomes and Josh Allen in the future, maybe.
Now, I'm glad you said that because we're going to take it back over here to Brandon real quick. Speaking of weapons, and she said that he'll only be as good as his weapons, his $500 million contract is about to start escalating. They had a pretty low cap number the first 2 years, but now it's about to start escalating where you can't pay everybody on offense. Does that sway your mind any that this could be the end of their run? At least their 4 straight runs to the AFC Championship game.
No, I don't think so. I feel like they're just gonna the thing about it is you really don't have anybody besides Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce that's already on that offense. If they can find some under the radar receivers that can go with those 2 players, then they'll be great. I thought my boy Clyde
Edwards-Helaire.
I thought he was gonna do something. But the dude can't stay healthy.
Can't.
That was a great component to that offense. But when he started getting injured and everything like that, it just changed the whole stock of who he was in the NFL. But my thing is they can replace. I feel like Mecole Hardman can be replaced.
Right.
I feel like what's that other receiver?
Pringle.
Yeah, Byron Pringle. Those players can be replaced. Those I wouldn't even say they're role players, to be honest with you.
Right. They're a tier below what you would consider like a third tier wide receiver. I totally agree with you there.
Right. I think the Chiefs need like a Gabriel Davis.
You mean 4 touchdowns in the divisional round, Gabriel Davis? That guy's a space.
Nobody probably even knew who he was before he had that game.
That is true. Because I didn't. I swear I didn't.
I heard of
fantasy football gurus probably knew because they were probably on their championship teams. But I'm gonna quit being salty about that loss, Mike. I'm gonna quit being salty about that. Mike, is it now Cincinnati's conference to lose going forward, or was this just a fluke?
I wouldn't say a fluke. Now it's just more competitive now. I don't think it's going to be like a shoe-in every time. I mean, it's still a competitive conference. So yeah, I just think it now that they're in the conversation now.
Okay, now let's go back to Jimmy G real quick for you, Tasha. Do you think now? Don't do that, Tasha. I know you don't like Jimmy G, but my thing
he's gone. Leave him alone.
You think he really? I mean, all signs point to him being gone. Is that the right move, Tasha? The man is taking you to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. What?
It doesn't matter. Yes, they always say, well, Jimmy G just gets out there and he just wins. He's just win. But he's awful when he's doing it, and he does. Let me go back. I can't put all the blame on Jimmy Garoppolo for losing that game, because the cornerback, when Stafford threw it right at him. What's his name? Todd, or whatever his name is.
Tark.
Yes. And I tweeted, I hope that dropped interception does not cost the 49ers the game. And it did. He had the chance to seal the Super Bowl. To seal the, stamp their ticket to the Super Bowl right there. And then, of course, Jimmy'd. Like, that's just him.
What was that YOLO throw? He had a YOLO throw at the end of that.
But then it was kind of like a underhanded back shuffle type. And I tweeted that as well. I said, we're depending on Jimmy G to win us this game, it's over. Because I already know that. Any real 49er fan knows that. He wins the games because of what's around him. He's not hot garbage, but he's just garbage. Like, he could be a good backup. He could help a team like Miami. He could be a backup. He could back up the Jets. And then what's Daniel Jones? What's his name in New York? He's better than Daniel Jones, so he could go to the Giants and maybe help them. But then there's nothing in New York that could help him, if that makes sense.
Now, let me go to you real quick, Brandon, because Mike, you shaking your head, and I'm dying to know why. But let me go to you for this reason. One team that she didn't mention was Bill Belichick's Patriots, your Patriots, who traded him away begrudgingly at the request of one Tom Brady. Would you take Garoppolo over Mac Jones and let Mac Jones sit and play behind Garoppolo? Would he put maybe New England a little bit closer to an AFC Championship game than going with the second-year starter?
No, I will go with Mac Jones, and reason being is, to me, they overhyped Jimmy G just because of what he did when he was in for Tom Brady, during that suspension time. I feel like they overhyped him, and they basically put him on that echelon that he's an NFL starter. He's not an NFL starter, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Matt Jones, to me, is a better quarterback than Jimmy G. Just because of the experience and everything. Yes, he did play behind Tom Brady, and he did study behind Tom Brady. But just because he played for Tom Brady during that suspension and they went 3-1 during that time, I felt like it was the media hyping him, saying that, oh, yeah, he can lead a team. And, if he could take over for Tom Brady while he was suspended, then he's a star caliber quarterback. And he's not. Like,
that's a system. That's a system. He was put in the system.
Exactly. That was something that he was used to, and he flourished at that time. But when he's not the quarterback to go to another team and flourish in that offense. Not every quarterback can pick it up that fast.
Mike, now they're making some really good points here. You were nodding your head in disagreement at the whole thought of Jimmy G. It is a system quarterback worth trading for? What's his value on the trade market, in your opinion?
Nothing. He reminds me when the Mavs were trying to get rid of Sean Bradley, and they were like, here's a sandwich. Just give us the sandwich back.
Sean Bradley, Mike, that's so disrespectful.
It's true though. Like, I don't believe that Jimmy G is good in any system, in my opinion. I was shaking my head at that he was better than the quarterback for the Giants, Daniel.
You don't think he's better than
Jones? You don't think he's better than Daniel Jones?
I don't think so. No, I think the Giants need a lot of help, and they need to give him some help. We have to understand that he's still young. He hasn't even been coached. He wasn't playing behind Tom Brady or a veteran. Eli, like what 1 year? Like it's Eli though.
And Joe Judge was
he was already going down. Eli was basically all like, I'm already, I'm retiring. I don't care. So
exactly. I think he needs a lot of help. I think he has a bright future with a lot of support. So
Tasha, let's go back to you to put a nice little bow on this. If he has no trade value, and if he's a system quarterback, what do you reasonably expect to get for him on the trade market?
Nothing.
I mean, you can't just cut the man.
I mean, but the thing is, like I said, he's not hot garbage. I think if you give him some decent toys to play with, he can kind of get you to like how he did us. He can get you there, but he just can't win it for you. If you just give him some toys to play with.
He's one of those guys that's a better coach than a player. Like he would be that person.
Like Kirk Herbstreit, like just go ahead and send him up to the
booth. Exactly. Like just go over there, look pretty, you'll be all right.
You know what? And I like the way y'all talked that back in because initially you said you want to win now. All of y'all said in the opening segment, you want to win now. And if Garoppolo is not a person that you can win with now, he holds no value. You see, I tried to trip y'all up, and y'all ain't with it. Y'all on that May James this morning. We're all right, okay. I tried to trip y'all up. It did not work. So let's move along. Y'all are on point this morning. Mike, are you sitting down, Mike? He's sitting down. We got the picture for Super Bowl, but your boy Brady, he gone. He gone. Are you gonna be all right? Do you want to pour out any coffee for him? Anything you'd like to say?
I'm all right, man.
I'm all right. I told people he should have retired a long time ago. Like, what else do you have to put in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why you keep holding a place, a space? That's like those teachers that been teaching for years and they don't want to leave. That's what it's like.
Yes.
Like, this is kind of
yes.
Okay. Now let's start here with you, Mike. Since you are braided out, and let me remove this real quick so you can open up the cashmere coat and let them see what you're rocking with. The man is rocking his T10 from Michigan. So let me ask you this, Mike: is Brady the GOAT of all sports?
We talked about this off wax, and you brought up some great points. I'm gonna still go with Tom Brady, though. I mean, I'll have you give your response to that one, but
I'm staying out of this. Yeah. This is about y'all today. I'm staying out of this one. I'm just throwing the softball.
Okay, but I'm gonna say yeah. Doing what he did, having the all-time records, passing yards, wins, Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl wins, all this. Going to different conferences, winning the first year over there, building a team. Like, man, that's crazy.
Being a GM?
Yeah, exactly.
Although, I wonder why he gets credit for being a GM and LeBron James don't, but that's another story for another show. Tasha, is Tom Brady the GOAT of all GOATs? Say it ain't so.
It's no way that you're ever going to get me to say that. On wax, off wax, DMs, sneaky link, anywhere. It's not going to happen.
Put the accolades up there, Mike, for the people on YouTube. You see all those accolades? Those are some accolades.
That don't matter. Because in my mind, I don't even think he's the greatest quarterback. That's one Joseph Clifford Montana. That's the greatest quarterback. Let's just put that out there. And the greatest football player ever was one Jerry Lee Rice. Let's just put that out.
Hold on, Tasha, back up. His middle name was Clifford?
Yes, his name is Joseph.
He disqualifies for his middle name being Clifford.
And we saw what he tried to do with the Chiefs, so he done.
Name. I know everybody's government name.
Right, for the police. So you said he's not only not the GOAT of all sports, he's not even the GOAT of QBs. You're gonna put Joe Montana ahead of Tom Brady. I'm just asking. I'm not debating.
Like I said, Joe Montana. Like the same argument that goes on. Joe Montana has never lost a Super Bowl. Yes, never. Brady has been there, but Montana has never lost a Super Bowl. And then even
because he couldn't get there with the
Brady
Chiefs.
did when he. That's a lie. That is a lie.
Research.
Now he did get them to the AFC. He got them to the AFC Championship game that year. But when Joe Montana was 97 years old when he got to Kansas City, and Kansas City
I don't know how old
did
he
not
was.
have
I just know he
success.
got his ass whooped.
Well, Brady's 45.
and think after Montana left, Kansas City never had any more winning like that after Joe Montana left.
You know why I love Joe Montana? It's because that year when he beat the Houston Oilers, the then Houston Oilers, Bud Adams was so fed up that he blew up the team. The city decided not to renew the lease on the Astrodome. He forced his way out to one city called Nashville, about 700-800 miles up the road, and we became the Tennessee Titans. So Joe Montana, you invited to all the cookouts.
He don't eat no avocado ice cream. He don't do all of that.
Okay,
about the greatest all time, and looking like he does up under that jersey.
Don't do that. That's the avocado toast. Now, Brandon, this is the reason why I thought this would be a fun exercise, because we represent 3 different generations. So I was curious to see what your generation of fans, who would you consider to be the GOAT of all GOATs? It has to be Brady, right?
I mean, hey, you're talking to a Patriots fan. You know? But no, the reason I would say Brady,
this shit is set up.
The reason I say Brady is because my only thing for Brady was, can he go to the National Football Conference, the NFC, and win a Super Bowl? And he did. That was my only question. What else did he have to prove? That was the last thing he had to prove, and he proved it. And yeah, he should have set in the sunset after that. I don't know why he tried to do it again this year. But
well, if AB wouldn't have thrown his stuff to the rafters, maybe he would be in this game today. That was a very close game against the Rams, even without his weapons.
AB was never the answer. He was never the answer.
AB. Okay, so let me throw out a couple of names just for its and giggles, for caca's and giggles. Now, no Michael Jordan? No, okay, no Michael.
I mean, of course, I think Michael Jordan is, and I'm not a Jordan fan. I always thought that Michael Jordan was one of the best athletes ever. The way he decided to condition his body, his mentality, the way he performed, I just always thought Jordan was the best. I mean, you can also put up somebody like Muhammad Ali, even everything he went through on a personal level to still come out and be able to perform at a peak level. And I think
success
that,
over a long
to me, those performances, right? Those performances, even though Brady has had success, and I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not that hyped, and this has nothing to do with the Tuck rule, and that's in all honesty. I just would not ever put Brady above them. That's not gonna. I mean, like I said, of course I joke because these are my 49er people, Jerry Rice and all that, but I wouldn't ever put Brady above Michael Jordan. I mean, he does. Look at his work ethic. Look at how he trained. Look at what he did. But I mean, I would never put Brady above a Michael Jordan or Muhammad Ali.
When we're talking about greatest of all time, I would put Jordan above Tom Brady as far as like being a competitor. But as far as greatest of all time, I would do like focusedness in that specific sport. And I don't think Jordan had that. He tried to play baseball for a little bit. Let's be real.
He was playing hack and sack.
And then he came back. He's like, okay, let me win. And then he goes to the Wizards. But
even when he came back, they gave him 45. He wasn't there. When they pulled that 23 out of the Raptors, that focus came back in. Nobody, if Jordan had to play football, Jordan gonna go out there and play football. Just like even now, you hear the stories about him having camps and people are challenging him, and he like, No, let me show you.
But he be wearing stonewashed jeans in 2022 though, so that eliminates him.
with 2 inch
he lost
ankle
with the
boots.
Wizards. That's my thing. He lost with the Wizards.
The man wears stonewashed blue jeans in 2022. He can't be the GOAT.
Again, there's no way in hell Tom Brady is a better overall athlete or competitor or performer than Michael Jordan. It's no way in hell.
Well, I will say this. Wait a minute. We got the squad checking in. Now, Denise says, I think it's hard to put a greatest of all-time athlete. Like to just pick one. Don't think you can do that, but you can pick one from each sport. Great point. But if we are going GOAT of all GOATs, Muhammad Ali was the original greatest of all time. Now he did coin himself that, but I see your point there. But in 5 years it won't matter because it's gonna be LeBron James, dog. It's gonna be LeBron. It's gonna wind up the GOAT of all GOATs. Once he win a title with Bronny at 52 years old, there won't be nothing else to say. Woo, put that crown on his head. Now, moving on. I just had to get the king in there some kind of way. Moving on. This week, as a Michigan fan, was kind of stressful. On National Signing Day on Wednesday, our head coach was in Minnesota tiptoeing through the tulips with the damn Vikings. Come to find out, he's now going back to Michigan. Now, Tasha, I sent you all a link with an interview that he had with somebody from the Detroit Free Press while he was sitting in Minnesota, snowed in, trying to get back to Ann Arbor. And he said, Michigan is where I want to be. Do you believe him? That's Harbaugh calling.
Why you always lying? That's my coworker guy. Why you always lying? What he thought, and remember I told you this when I was watching the show. He thought that when he went to that interview.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tasha.
Stop, I'm trying to stop, you know I can't.
Why get them with the rhythm?
Because Mike was like,
let the music take control. Round. Go ahead, Tasha.
And I mean, I thought it was shady at first when I was watching the shows and I was reading across the ticker that Harbaugh had an interview on National Signing Day. I said, so either Minnesota. I said, so Minnesota. I said, he's either sending a message. Remember, what did I send you? I said, that means they better up some commas, 100,000, 100,000. I said, Michigan better F up some commas and do it real fast. And I said, either that, it's a money play, or either Minnesota has already told him that he has that job for him to leave on the most important day of college football. And then come to find out, he gets there and they basically want to give the job to the offensive coordinator with the Rams. Right. So I think he got there thinking one thing and they said, trick. Not so fast. And so now all of a sudden, no, I always want to be. If you always wanted to be it, right. If Michigan is where you want to be, why would you even agree to an interview on that day? Look it. I ain't never coming home no more.
They probably put him in a bad position. It's like, well, how important or how secure do you think you can come over here on National Signing Day? Like, prove it to us. He ends up showing up saying like, yeah, I want the job. And he's like, just kidding. Like,
Mike, you think, oh, wait a minute. We're going to get to you, Mike. But Brandon, let me ask you this. In that same article, he says that he told the athletic director, hey, this is just a one-time thing. You don't have to worry about me doing this year in and year out. Do you believe Jim Harbaugh?
No. I mean, like this goes back to the thing that me and Tasha both said, and I don't remember if Mike said it, but remember you asked the question: is he gonna jump suit and go to the NFL, right? And we said no because he's more for the college football world, right?
Right.
So I feel like he was just out there trying to test the waters and see what was going to happen, but he know he wasn't gonna get a job, so he had to. Text back real quick. Hey, I'm on my way back to Ann Arbor because if I don't make it back, then I don't have a job. Right. So I think it was just a tease and it's just publicity. I'm in the communication world. Come on, you gonna do stuff like that to create news, because if you don't have no news to create, I mean, people are not gonna get excited. It's not gonna be trending.
He was trending on Twitter all week because of that. But if he in fact did this to be trending, then I'm even more upset than I am right now, because that is awful. It's supposed to be about the team, not the coach. Mike, will this have a negative impact on team chemistry this year with the J.J. McCarthy's, with all of the returning seniors who was like, hey, you was out there really thought you had another job, was going to leave us on signing day. That was going to be the big story the next day. And now you're back as coach. What does he say to his locker room now?
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, I think that's what I like about Michigan players, throughout the past. They're really quiet when it comes to this type of stuff, which is good because then you can't really tell what they're thinking. There was nothing, not even honestly, like on the fans. Like you think about like Twitters and all that. Like we're like, all right, well, if that happens, let's what coach could we get? And we're like, oh damn, there ain't that many coaches out there that can play in our system. Yeah, so when he came back, because honestly, we were thinking like, okay, well, he did come over here. He rebuilt us to win a Big Ten championship. That's what he said he was going to do. So let's move on. Like it was an easy breakup, right? So then when he came back, he's like, all right, cool. I honestly think, to Brandon's point, that it was all like hype, and maybe he no one can go into a situation like that and not gain anything from it. Like he's a smart guy. So he's building relationships somehow through the NFL, saying like, hey, I'll build this. I'll go interview with y'all, but y'all have to pay me a favor in the future for my kids, right?
For when they fire me when I lose to Ohio State. Tasha, see, Brandon and Mike just made me mad because like if you did this just to rile us fans up, and I was riled up. I was blaming Michigan. I'm saying Michigan should have paid.
I was angry.
Now I'm mad. Now I'm like, well, go on there and get on up the street. Does he get a contract extension after this?
I mean, I think Michigan does. I think it was in the works when he beat the FIs. I think they were, but I don't, like I told you, I don't think there were enough commas because we all know he took that pay cut. And then the money that he was getting, he was paying other people. I think that was a good faith gesture to show at that time, Michigan, hey, I'm here for the long run. I'll do this, I'll do that. But I'm doing this, but y'all gonna need to repay me. And I think I just don't think the numbers are correct, which is why he had to dip his toe in that NFL pond. And then the GM, was the GM from the 49ers. So he kind of got thrown in at the last minute anyway. And so I think when that happened, he was like, well, yeah, let me go and see what they're talking about since Michigan ain't giving me what I want. But we will see it within the next few weeks. There should be wait a minute. Paul, you got on hockey? I got on hockey. It is hockey.
It's the hockey all-star game today. Had to rep my Predators.
I just noticed that.
We do sports. Shouts out to Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, I am rocking hockey today.
Okay, sorry. Back to my point. I just think I think we will hear something in maybe the next coming week or so about some sort of extension. And since it is public, we will have to know how much they're actually paying him because it's public knowledge.
Natasha, thank you for talking me off the ledge. That's the only thing that I will accept from him was that he was trying to get some security so that every year he's not able to just bounce out of his contract because there's only 1 year left.
But he's not going to admit that. He's not going to admit that.
No, he's not going to admit that, but I don't know. Like he didn't have to do us like that this week. And yes or no question to put a nice little bow on this. We're going to start with you, Mike. If Minnesota offered him the job, would he have taken it?
I think he would have, honestly.
Yes. Brandon?
Of course. I mean, it's NFL. You go from college to NFL. Who wouldn't take it?
Damn, that's a good point. Tasha, yes or no?
Yes.
Then he got to go.
Yes.
Then he got to go.
Claro.
Look, what he did was the equivalent of scheduling a date with his side chick on his anniversary, going to the movie theater, and she don't even show up. So now he's going back home talking about, babe, what you want to eat? I know it's our anniversary. Like, nah, go on somewhere then, Harbaugh.
You know good and well she's going to be like, I want some P.F. Chang's.
Right, and that's what they did. They're enabling this bad behavior. They're like one of them women on Love and Hip Hop. Just, you know what? I'm gonna digress. But Michigan, we can't be that school. That it's Harbaugh or bust. We are the University of Michigan. Look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost Lincoln Riley, and they was like, okay, we'll go get another high-profile assistant coach and keep the train rolling. Michigan, don't allow that foolishness.
And then look at their recruiting cast. Where were they ranked, Brandon? Where were they ranked for recruiting? They were in the top 10, weren't they?
Yeah, number 8. But the thing about it is, let me tell you the move that we did. This was the move that we did. We went with somebody who already had history with the University of Oklahoma. And the thing about it is, we brought in a lot of former players. So we brought in like consistency. You know what I'm saying? They're going to believe those players. The recruits are going to believe those players because they played for the University of Oklahoma. So if DeMarco Murray told me, hey, man, I got you. I'm gonna offer you. I'm gonna go play for DeMarco Murray as a running back.
Right. That's
He's
true.
been in the NFL. We
That's
have a
true.
lot of assistants that's been in the NFL who knows how, what it takes to win as well.
But we are the University of Michigan. We are bigger than a damn Harbaugh. We bigger.
I like your point that you just said. I like your point. Repeat what you just said.
We bigger than a Harbaugh.
Okay, let me tell you what they said. When Bob Stoops came in and took over as interim head coach, he said, OU is bigger than a person.
Right.
The football team. We can move on. Lincoln Riley did what he had.
Move on from Stoops and continue to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Michigan, I hope y'all listening to Brandon out here in the OU stuff. Don't fall for this banana in the tailpipe again.
But also, we have one of the best ADs in the country, too.
Don't do our AD like that.
I'm
Mike, I'm giving you the last word on this. Is all forgiven with Harbaugh? Is all forgiven with you and Harbaugh now?
I think you're probably right. I think he's looking for that long-term deal. He wants to retire with Michigan and be kind of like that Lloyd Carr, that Bo Schembechler. I think just give him that long-term deal. Let him do what he does. I mean, he's proven himself that he can build it. He's proven that he has relationships with the NFL and the NFL personnel. Like, let's just give it to him. Let's build it. We had that bad breakup, a little Las Vegas night. Let's come on back. Okay, let's put a ring on it.
So he pulled a Beyonce because after she dropped that song, "Single Ladies," he wiped her up because she was like, "To be honest, the rumors got to stop." So she was shaking that tutu.
Yeah, exactly.
In that cat suit, and Jay-Z was like, "Damn, man, let me go and get over here."
It was a wild bachelorette party. Now come on back.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, see, I needed this. This was therapy for me. Thank y'all for talking me through this because I'm ready to put a fist through the wall because Harbaugh playing games with us like we some baby mama that can't do no better and gonna let the dude just keep walking in and out of our life. We are Michigan. We don't play that. Right there with it. You better put a ring on it, Mr. Harbaugh, or you got to go, bruh. Now, for all of the people who have maybe had their power out this week, God bless you, or you've been in jail sitting out warrants and you didn't see the story, then, welcome to the Extra Point. We'll go ahead and catch you up real quick. One of the big stories this week was Brian Flores, former coach of the Miami Dolphins, suing the NFL, specifically the Giants and the Broncos and the Dolphins, for what he considered to be unfair hiring practices. Long and short of it is, head coach Bill Belichick texted Flores, congratulating him on getting the Giants job. The only problem is he hadn't interviewed for the Giants job yet. So after a couple of back and forth, he's like, "Hey, are you talking to me or T-Loke? This is G-Loke." He was like, "Oh, my bad, G-Loke. I meant to be texting T-Loke." So he had the wrong Brian. He meant to be talking about Brian.
I thought you was somebody else.
Well, my bad. I'm sorry, Dr. King. I thought you was somebody else. I don't care. First of all, let's just get this out the way. Belichick don't make those kind of slip-ups. He's trying to take down the damn Dolphins. The Dolphins this year, this is payback. He's like, I'm gonna get y'all up out the paint. I think that he's taking a shot at Miami. Really, I think he knew what he was doing to get this started. That being said, so now there's a lawsuit that's pending, and there's been a lot of talk about it. Now, here at the Extra Point, as far as we're concerned, everybody knows what the issue is. Everybody's been knowing what the issue is. Anybody with eyes know what the issue is. So we're not going to sit here and keep beating that drum. I want to move the conversation forward, and let's have an intelligent conversation as far as what happens next. Now, we're going to start with you, Tasha, but a simple question. If the Rooney Rule is not working, then what will work?
Nothing.
I'm going to come to you, Mike. You said nothing.
Nothing at all. It's nothing because you think about it, the NFL itself, from what I've been hearing this entire week, the NFL is diverse, like the headquarters. And they said this is kind of what Roger Goodell did not want. Like, he wants inclusivity. He has Black men working. He has women working in the league office. But he cannot tell those owners what to do. Right. And then I tweeted this, and then I thought about it. Paul, if you own a company, you're black. Brandon, you're black. You own a company. Mike, you're a person of color as well. If you own a company, you're not just going to hire, oh, I'm gonna get this black man just because he's black. And you kind of still want the most qualified.
Mm-hmm.
But my issue with that is you cannot tell me all of these. Let me go back. Look at Tampa Bay's staff. What color is their offensive coordinator? What color is their defensive coordinator? Look at San Francisco. What color is the offensive coordinator? What color
and
is
the
the
assistant head coach now with Anthony Lynn.
So you mean to tell me they're right? You're telling me that they're qualified to work under you, but they're not qualified to lead. They can be co-leaders, but they're not qualified to lead. That is the issue that I have. And nothing's going to change that, because you think most of these owners, Jerry Jones is the only one that's ever played football. So he's played on a team with, black people. Their mind frame is not going to change because that's in them. Not saying that they're racist or anything like that, or prejudice. That's not the point. It's here. They think just like with black quarterbacks. Remember, you never had how hard was it to have black quarterbacks in the league? Because they thought mentally black people could not lead and black people could not perform when they were supposed to, other than running a ball. Nothing's going to change that. And that's just the bottom line. Even though we have been proven that, we are smart people. We are thinkers. Look at Myron Rolle. He played top level football at Florida State, played a game against Maryland where he had to fly to England to interview with Oxford, and then still made it back to play in that game against Maryland. And I remember that. And what is he now? Yes, his football career really didn't pan out, but he's a doctor now.
And he
so
was a
we
Tennessee
are
Titan
very
as well.
Yes,
He was.
we are
was
very
Tennessee Titan.
intelligent, but and then even with this being Black History Month, we hear about the same inventors, the same. I read the other day, it's a black woman and her husband that put the patent on something that all of these billionaires, these companies, and everybody uses. I can't think of her name right now. Her and her husband patented security cameras. That's a black woman. So I take offense to the fact that these owners, I'm gonna stab you. These owners, where she lived in Jamaica, Queens, and when she came home from work, the neighborhood wasn't very safe, and she would be at home without her husband. So she started putting things up. She had 3 door holes, where she could see, and she started putting cameras up. They applied for that patent. So when you see all of this security, and like they said, even stoplights, that's invented by a black man. So you don't need to tell us that we're not smart enough that we can't lead a team. And that's sadly, that is not going to change.
You know what? I want to go back to your original premise, and then I'm going to come to you, Brandon, and then you, Mike. Like when you were saying, as far as you can't tell an owner to go pick a black person just because he's black. We can just keep it right here at the extra point. We assembled an all minority cast. And if someone was to come to me and say, hey, you need to replace one of these 3 with someone who's not of color, my pushback is going to be, this wasn't racially driven. I picked the 3 people that fit. I picked the 3 people that we have the best chemistry with. 3 people who know what they're doing. I picked the 3 best for what I want to do here. And how can you legislate in my heart if this was racially motivated? Because it is not. Everybody that you see on this panel has, and you hear people say it all the time, but we have black friends, white friends, Hispanic friends. You go to the Hassel's house for an event, you're going to see a beautiful mosaic of skin tones. Everybody getting along, everybody treating each other like family, not just on one occasion, but on occasions spending the last 10 years in that I saw with my own 2 eyes. You as well, Tasha, you as well, Brandon. So if someone was putting political pressure on me to change my roster, to add someone who's not of color, I would feel some kind of way to want to push back as well. So I just wanted to paint a picture of when there's business and then there's hanging out outside of work. So, like, I can understand how a Jerry Jones may say, well, I picked the 4 most qualified or another person like that. I just wanted to kind of pick up on what you said there. Brandon, let me come to you real quick. As a young up-and-comer, let's say you're the most sought-after coordinator in the game, in the professional ranks, and you're about to come up in this next wave of coaches to be interviewed. Do you think there's going to be public pressure on African-American coaches or coaches of color in general to not go for these jobs because of fear of backlash? And the reason why I asked that is because we saw what happened with Colin Kaepernick. First, it was just him kneeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was him and a teammate kneeling. Then it was a couple of guys sprinkled around the league. Then it became so public that ESPN was keeping a tracker on who was kneeling and who wasn't. And the people who weren't kneeling were getting asked about it after the game. Remember Dak when he stood up for Jerry and when Des Bryant said, "I got kids to feed." How much of a backlash he took for that? Do you think the same is going to happen to coaches that want to continue to pursue a career as a head coach?
I don't think it's going to ever stop. And we all know that it's, of course, taught and everything like that. But from my experience as a young African-American, I have always been that one speck in an environment. And I always been told that it's because I know how to carry myself. I know how to talk. I know how to communicate. So I feel like a lot of people are going off the stereotypical thing, mindset. Because I have been a lot of places. Like, for example, when I was at the Cotton Bowl, I was one of the few colored people there. But I networked with, you know what I mean? I networked. It got me places, and I just don't understand, because I pray to God I don't ever have to experience that or go through that. But I do see it with my peers. And that's why I try to help them and educate them and say, they're looking at the stereotypical viewpoint. We have to change that. I can go get so much deeper in that, but I'm not going to get deep on that with this conversation. But I will say I think it's going to continue to happen unless we somehow, I don't know how, we put a stop to it, starting with us.
Starting internally. Okay. Mike, you had wanted to chime in earlier on the first question. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think the problem is, there's a couple different problems, but one of them is there seems to be some type of stigma that's out there that's like last in, first out type of things. And that's not right. I mean, you think of Mike Tomlin, one of the greatest coaches in the NFL of all time, taking the Steelers, bad team Steelers, and winning Super Bowl. Like, they were asking for his head last year. Like, what are you talking about? You got Mike Tomlin. Like,
right.
What? Like,
right.
I don't get
put somebody off a terrorist to get Mike Tomlin in Nashville.
Exactly. So I think the problem is they're wanting you to have that fear of not applying for these positions. I think the problem is that you should do the exact opposite, and everyone needs to start applying. And I think from the NFL standpoint,
Mike, you just hit where I was trying to go with that. It's because that's where I was going with the backlash. I was hoping that somebody would say just what you said. Now's the time to turn up the heat and flood them with applicants.
Yeah, exactly.
Seize every opportunity.
I mean, that's in the art of war. So we're gonna do that. I mean, it is war, especially if you're trying to fight for what you want and for what's right. Then that's what you have to do. I think from the NFL standpoint, you have to do some type of like diversity and belonging organization within the organization, and they need to be also a part of the interview process. Not saying like this is who you need to choose, but it needs to make sure that it's right. Okay, almost like an HR perspective of like who you're hiring. Okay, if this person is not qualified, tell us why and who you're looking for. Because if you're saying X, Y, and Z, but this person that you hired doesn't have X, Y, and Z, then something's wrong there.
Right now, let's just keep it real. And we're going and I'm being brutally, totally honest when I say this. And I think that I'm just a reflection of every football fan out there. Racism hadn't turned me away from the NFL. Sexism hadn't turned me away. Rape hadn't turned me away. Domestic violence hadn't turned me away. DUIs hadn't turned me away. We had a player just kill somebody on the road, drinking and driving, and I'm still watching every week. The NFL is a machine, and they're going to continue. They're going to survive this. That's just how it is. They've been surviving for 50, 60 years, no matter what type of scandal comes their way. My question is, as far as it goes with Flores, we saw Colin Kaepernick settle out of court. Yes or no question. Tasha, I'm gonna start with you. If Brian Flores decides to settle out of court, because the NFL, they're not billionaires for no reason. They have some of the biggest, brightest, most powerful players behind them. They have the networks behind them. They have the high-powered attorneys behind them. Flores is fighting an uphill battle that to win this whole thing and like topple the NFL. I don't see that happening. But if he settles out of court, does that undermine everything that he's done this week?
Yes. Yes. And I really don't think that he would settle out of court. I'm praying to God that he does not settle out of court, because it takes away everything that he's trying to, what am I saying? That takes away everything that he's trying to prove. If you settle out of court, like I wish like hell Cap hadn't settled out of court when he did.
Right, because it made
because
it gave
even
him
though
an out
everything
to get
Cap,
back in. Right.
even though everything that Cap said was correct, I mean, it's been proven that he was right. Now, his methods may have been not what everyone wanted, but he's right. He was right, and we are kind of seeing now that Flores was right. But I'm praying that he doesn't take a settlement, that everything is exposed. We saw with the emails from the Commandos, the Washington football team with Gruden and all of that, how things were exposed, and how these people think. So I don't want him to take a settlement, because he said he wants to coach. But and the quote was, if what I'm doing keeps me from coaching, then I'm okay with that. But this has to be exposed. They have to know. I mean, they know this has been going on. They know
Right
what is going on.
I don't even think he's exposing anything. The only thing he really exposed was the text message from like, this is a topic of conversation that's happened every off season where we start doing a head count of coaches. So that's nothing new. Brandon, I'm going to come to you. Would you be disappointed if he settled out of court?
But I mean, I also think.
Yeah, go ahead and finish your point. No, go ahead and finish your point, Tasha. Okay, Brandon.
Oh, no, I think what it exposed, I think that it has exposed how some of these owners actually think and what they do behind the scenes. Like he was saying, oh, they were offering me $100,000 to tank games. And then you had Hugh Jackson, who I still don't know if he took the cash or not, said the same thing happened in Cleveland.
I'm looking at Hugh with a side eye. I'm looking at Hugh Jackson with a side eye, though.
Right.
1 in 32,
I mean, but that's them Haslams. I don't trust them Haslams, no way.
But 1 in 32, bro. Like, he looks like an opportunist in this one. And if I'm wrong, may God turn my heart. But he looks like an opportunist in that regard. Brandon, if he settles, do you think this will undermine everything that he's done this week?
No, I mean, to me, it honestly, to me, wouldn't prove a point. Going through all that and stuff. I mean, if you want to go down with a fight, you got to keep fighting. And like you say, it's probably going to sacrifice his future as a head coach. But I mean,
you got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, you can't just back down if that's what you truly feel, and this is something that you surfaced and brought to the media, and that's something trending. You got to keep going for it. You can't just stop. So I would say, if you saying you going out with a fight, you need to go out with a fight. Don't back down if it's nothing proven or you haven't did anything to basically settle this.
Right. Mike, I'm going to give you the last word on this topic. Let's say he doesn't settle and he wins. Let's say he wins his case. What do you do to the Giants? What do you do to the Dolphins? Like, what would be the damages? Like how do you punish the NFL team? Because we all know that a $500,000 fine or $1 million fine is like finding them tip money on a pizza. So like what would you do? Like, right. How would this outcome turn out if they do vote in his favor?
Well, me, and I like my draft picks. I think that is the future of your organization is draft picks. I'm going to take away draft picks. I'm like, okay. All right, cool. Give me your first 2 rounds. Bye. It's almost it's almost like the death penalty, but not. I mean, you can make and break a franchise with draft picks, but maybe first and second is probably extreme. But I mean, now's the time to send a message.
Excellently said by you. I agree 100%. I was thinking like you can't monetarily Because hell, there's 32 billionaires. You don't think they could pull together some money to help save one of their own franchises?
Mhm.
Like I get it. You got to hit them with the draft picks. That's the only thing that's going to work. Now this is Black History Month, and we like to acknowledge here as a team of minorities. I do pride myself on us being good role models, being articulate when we're on here, being pillars of our community. We got fathers on here. We got students on here. We got retired brothers. We got people that's climbing the corporate ladder. That a hodgepodge of good people, talented people, educated people, and I'm personally proud to be a part of this cast. Brandon, as we do our shout outs, you have a Black History Month shout out that you posted on Twitter that I'd like you to go ahead and do publicly.
Okay, yeah. So my cousin Claire Shepard Looper, she was actually the one that started the nationwide sit-ins here in Oklahoma City. And she was a school teacher at Dungy High School in Spencer, Oklahoma, John Marshall High School in Oklahoma City, and also, can't even think of the second school, Classen High School in Oklahoma City. And she lived from 1923 to 2011. It was very impactful. I got invited to an event last August in her honor where they named the central downtown post office in her honor. So she was one of the few ladies of minority to have a post office named in her honor in the United States.
Awesome. So congratulations to her. And Mike, real quick, as we roll up out of here, AFC or NFC tomorrow in the Pro Bowl?
I'm gonna go NFC.
You're gonna go NFC, Brandon. AFC or NFC in the Pro Bowl?
I'm probably going to NFC as well.
You're gonna go NFC as well? I'm gonna go AFC with Mike Vrabel, only because there's no Titans offensive players that can throw interceptions at the last minute and cost us the game. With that being said, y'all, we are out of here. We'll see y'all next week to do a full breakdown of the Super Bowl, plus get the panel's picks, the picks you need to feed your seed. We'll see y'all next Saturday. Peace.